right, very good morning to you. Hope that uko salama wa salmin buheri wa afya on this, the lovely Valentine's Day. We'll get to that in a short while, but just like Sam Gituku intimated a little bit earlier on, there's a national prayer, I don't know if it's called National Prayer Day, but there's a prayer day that was called, a prayer event that was called by President William Ruto, coinciding on the 14th, which is today. The First Lady is already there at the Nyayo National Stadium. As you can see there, that's where the event is going to happen. And it's a national prayer event. We're going to be joining Chemutai Goin, who is there. It is a prayer over drought, famine, and some of the problems that facing the country. And once we get Chemutai Goin, we'll link up with her and just to give us a brief of what's going on. Those are the images that are there. Of the event that is going at the Nyayo National Stadium, of course, called by President William Ruto. As I said, First Lady Rachel Ruto is already there. We'll be joining Chemutai Goin a little bit later on to see what's the latest update, who's there, and what the program looks like. All right, so I'm cheekily thinking that is a very perfect excuse for men. Sema tuko maombi Nyayo. This is the 14th day. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's, Roberta.
Happy Valentine's.
Uko sawa?
I'm always sour.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Happy Valentine's to my mom and my dad. Yeah.
Happy Valentine's, Mama and Baba Roberta.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, today, as you can see, tuko na Roberta CJ has whisked away his lover to an undisclosed location. Shazmin also is with the lover in an undisclosed location. Shatta, as you said, as I began, you've seen that what's going on at the Nyayo National Stadium. It happens to be a route that Shatta was in on his way to work, and so he's now stuck there. Of course, in these kind of events, kuna ile kublokiwa, wacha huyu apite, First Lady no huyu, governor, governor ni mjamo, Ruto Day, pia press hapo Rigiji, kwa mayad. So that's what's going on. Hold on, hii kitu ya Evashow ina ruka mara inakuja yeah, so there Evashow iko sawa. There you go. Okay, I guess I have to be at an angle for me to hear Winnie, but it's okay. It's all good, I guess. Kama saisi ski, but we shall work on it, just like people are working on their relationships. Today I want to talk about a different side. I know the carpet is red, but I want to talk about green flags. How to know that you are being loved. How to know that enyewe yani wewe ni mtu unapendwa na unapendwa right, and because everybody talks about that's such a red flag. That's such a red flag. It's been a word that has been thrown around. Sometimes I feel on things that are not necessarily red flags. I don't know if there's a difference between red flag and just msetu vile yuko tu yani kuna msetu roho chafu.
Which means he's a walking
red flag.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's start there. What are some of because we talk so much about red flags, what are some of the things that yani ukitaka kujua mimi I'm in a healthy, vibrant relationship? And by here I don't necessarily mean it's sexual. Yeah, even just friendships.
Yeah. I was trying to read about this yesterday just to equip myself with more knowledge and to see. And everything that I learned more about healthy and beautiful relationships where the flags are all green is that these relationships are a bit easier. They're smooth sailing. They make you feel fulfilled. There's hardly ever questions about, am I in the right relationship? Am I happy? Am I? Because it's just smooth. The conversation is smooth. You feel supported. You feel loved. You feel listened to. You feel heard and seen in the relationship. And so that's something that I would say is something to look out for. How does the relationship make you feel?
Right.
Yeah, is it easy for you? Is the communication easy? Are you able to just be friends? I mean, I know there's relationships where you go through things sometimes, but even through the storms, what wanazitanga ups and downs. I'm not talking about cheating.
Ukisikianga mtu hapo kwa comments kwa post ameandika baby happy Valentine's or happy birthday, you know we have been through up and downs equals cheating.
Unajua wamevurugana crazy. But I'm not talking about that extent of emotional or physical abuse. I'm talking about general ups and downs. Maybe today you're just depressed, tomorrow you're sad. How do you feel existing in the relationship that you're in? Is it easy? Are you able to communicate? Do you feel supported in your emotions and your communication?
Right.
Do you feel heard and seen, basically? Yeah, so that's what I would say is a relationship that sends out all the signals of, all the green flag signals. It's a bit easier, it's a bit smoother. Yeah.
What about if uko you're feeling this stuff, but this is as a result of your inner work. So these are things that your default setting is that. Because I've done so much work on myself, my default setting rather is to be calm, you know, easy. You know, I'm okay.
That's who you are.
Yes. So then how do you spot, you know, how do I know that sasa hii feeling si kwa sababu I have worked on myself, it's kwa sababu huyu msee ama huyu girl picking ananipenda.
That's an even better situation to be in, because the more you know yourself, the more you work on yourself, the more you start to heal your inner child and to take care of yourself and to know yourself better, it gets easier for you to be able to spot such things. Because now, kama umeshajiweka kwa standard, this is how I treat myself, this is how I listen to myself, this is how I support myself. I listen, I hear myself, I rest, I eat well, I'm healthy, I feel good. Ukishajiweka kwa hiyo standard, anything else external that comes into your life and tampers with the security that you've created for yourself, you're going to notice it very, very easily. So kama ni wewe umework on yourself, uko na hiyo inner peace na una feel vizuri, if something foreign comes in and tries to disrupt that kind of growth, you're going to tell, this is not good for me. And that's why I always tell people, it's very mandatory, or let me say necessary, that you take time to love yourself immensely. I'd say take it to borderline narcissism, but for yourself. I mean, love yourself so bad that anything else that comes is just complementary. It's just coming to add on. Because ushajiweka kwa level flani yenye unajua venye unataka kupendwa, unajua venye unataka kusikizwa. For instance, I don't like airing my friends out, but for example, let's say I had a friend who had an avoidant attachment style.
Right.
Tukikosana hapendi kudiscuss vitu. They'd rather, you know, this is not something they do intentionally ati sitaongea na Roberta. It's just because of their childhood trauma, the way they grew up, they were neglected emotionally. So communication doesn't come as easy to them.
Right.
And I used to be like that, but I had to realize that when you want relationships to work, you have to show up, you have to put in the effort, you have to communicate, you have to be able to say how you feel, and that takes a lot of inner work and a lot of working on yourself for you to bring yourself to a space where even when you're angry, instead of running away, you're able to say, yo, Willis, ulinikosea man, like sikusikia poa. That's a very difficult spot to be at. It takes a lot of work. So say I had a friend who had an avoidant attachment style, and their default was to go mpaka yeye calm down, ama feel nika vitu ziko sawa, anaweza rudi kuniongelesha. You see, for me, I'm able to tell, I'm able to see, this is not normal for me. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to you ignoring me because you're angry. Work on yourself. Build yourself to the point that you communicating your emotions, you managing your emotions, you saying how you feel, it becomes second to nature. It's something that comes so easily to you that it's not a tea. I mean, yes, I'm supposed to be the kind of friend that creates an environment for you where you're able to communicate your emotions as well, but that's my job. That's for me to work on. But for you who's avoidant or runs away from emotions, runs away from communication and effort and fixing things, because I've worked on myself, I'm able to tell that's not something I want in my life. I need people in my life who are able, because also it leaves me feeling, is Willis okay? I reach out to him, he doesn't text me back, he's angry because he's still annoyed. And then he stays 5 months without talking to me. You see, that disrupts relationships. But I love to be surrounded by people who are able to tell me how they feel. Because I have worked on myself enough to be able to communicate how I feel as well. So when you work on yourself, that's a much better position to be at, because you're able to notice, Willis is not being a good friend to me. So let me let him know how let me tell him how I feel. Right. But if you don't work on yourself and your default is not iyo kukua calm, to manage emotions and everything, it won't come naturally for you to be able to fix relationships and to give love and to receive love. You have to actually do the work and put yourself in a position and situation where you're able to receive love as well. Yeah.
All right. And tunaambiwa kwamba pia a man who has also worked on himself, Shatta Boy, is joining us via phone. Shatta Boy.
Wagwan.
Ni aje Brejin?
Niko fiti sana.
First of all, uko wapi? Najua hii jam ya kuomba imekusunda.
Nimefika, niko hapa kwa gate naingia.
Kwa gate gani?
Ya kampuni.
Kampuni gani?
Royal Media.
Royal Media gani?
Unaona vile msanii anasiaga akiwa backstage, anapewa mic anaanza kuongea akiwa backstage.
Yes.
Hivyo ndo nasikia saa hii.
Okay, as you walk in, tell us about what are some of the, today you're talking about green flags. Mse, since wewe ni advocate of boy child atajuaje ako in the right relationship? Kuna ma green flags.
First of all, sasa uko nimepotea?
Uko sawa.
You should be a green flag wewe mwenyewe. For you to know green flag, you should be a green flag. Kama umework on yourself. Sasa for example, kitu ya kwanza unafaa ujue ni huwezi jua kila kitu. Kuna watu wanaitwa know it all. Know it all. Ukijipata kwa situation wewe huwezi ambiwa kitu, unafaa ujue wewe you are a walking red flag. And you are bound to attract one.
That's so true.
Kwa dunia ukipata na mtu mwenye hayuko willing kulearn,
yes,
wewe unaanza kupotea. So what you do, first of all, appreciate that you're not an island. There are things you will learn, there are things you won't know. Ndio?
Yes.
Yes.
Na pia usijipende excess vile Bobby amesema. Nimesikiliza Bobby akisema borderline narcissist hapo kidogo. Unaweza ukajipenda pia ukasahau kupenda wenzako.
Hiyo ni uongo, Shatta.
Robert anasema hiyo ni uongo.
Nimemsikia. I sound like not though. But what I'm saying is this, Number one, ukijua kujipenda, utajua mtu anakupenda. Na mtu anajipenda pia. Usipende mtu ajipendi.
Yes.
Au sio?
Yes, yes.
Napita kwa corridors kama watu wakinisikiliza kwa TV.
Ati?
I am here. Anyway.
Keep walking closer until you get usimame hapa tutakuchukua na jibu.
Amazing. I am here, I'm at the door.
Where? Open the door, let me see.
Ndio huyo.
Walk into the set. Walk in. Chukua But ako na simu. Simama hapa. Okay, he's here. He doesn't have a mic, so he wouldn't be able to talk. But kata simu. Hang up. Hawakusikii. Right, so as you can see, Shatta Boy has finally walked into the studio here, and so sasa tutakuwa we'll get him situated vizuri in a short while. But in the between time, like we told you, the prayer day, the prayer event set aside for drought and hunger and other myriad of issues that are facing the country is going down at the Nyayo National Stadium. It is an event that is going to be live here on Citizen Television, and President William Ruto is expected to be there. First Lady Rachel Ruto has already arrived. We want to join Chemutai Goin, who is at the venue. Chemutai, what can you tell us? What is the program looking like? What is going on?
Hallelujah. Well, the session really of praise and worship has already begun. We know this session is led by First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto, and of course the second, the wife, the spouse to the Deputy President, Dorcas Rigathi. Right now it's been praise and worship that has been going on, and we know that this National Day of Prayer is not just a day to pray for the plan and seek God's divine intervention in trying to address some of the challenges that the country is facing, but one of the key messages today will be that prayer for, rain, prayer against the drought and famine that has ravaged the country. We know Kenya is dealing with the worst drought in 40 years, and analysts actually say that this is the worst rain pattern that has been witnessed, because at this moment in many parts of the food growing areas of the country, tilling would be going on ahead of planting season, because the rains would be coming in around March or April, but then we've witnessed the hot sun here in Nairobi, and imagine the other areas of the country that usually witness very hot episodes. This is a moment to put the country before the Lord and seek that divine intervention in trying to address that. We know that also the economic situation affecting the country, not just Kenya. We've seen even global nations or superpowers also dealing with a very serious recession. They are also going to pray for that bit to address the economic issues affecting the country, with the hope that they can lessen the burden on many Kenyans. We know that many Kenyans lament about the cost of living, the high cost of basic commodities. So today, literally, it will be bringing together. It's literally an interdenominational service, bringing together various religious leaders whom we've seen have already arrived here very early in the morning. We've seen Kenyans coming in their numbers. There's security checks that have been going on at the gates, where we've also gone through. Most of them are already queuing, waiting to get here. But literally, it's just been a prayer session. So what we witnessed for morning was, a lot of worship and a lot of singing as they wait the arrival of President William Ruto, who will also be arriving anytime from now. We've seen security heightened along many roads leading to this Nyayo National Stadium, where the event is being held, and it is expected that possibly any time from now the president will be arriving. But the program has already kicked off. We are going into a prayer session, as you hear from the background, and we will be giving you those updates as soon as, of course, the president gets here, and when in our subsequent bulletins later on in the day, whether it's 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 and 9 p.m. But we've seen now the arrival of Nairobi Deputy Governor. We've seen a host of other leaders that are already arriving, members of that are serving in government, that are already sat at the dais. But we are yet to see, the main members of cabinet, the president, of course, the deputy president, and the cabinet secretaries. But we've seen a number of elected leaders that have already come here. And remember, Willis, that this is also coinciding with the opening of Parliament. So waiting to see how that balancing act will be played, that members can possibly come here early in the morning and be able to be in Parliament, the Senate and the National Assembly by 2:30, when the two houses resume for their first session after a long recess that cut across December and January. So we will be keeping you updated as soon as we have updates, and even as we join, of course, the country in that prayer moment, hoping that the intercessions will reach the Almighty, and that some of the issues that even as individuals are battling, will be sorted. So back to you in studio as we join in the program, and keep you updated a little later on what will be transpiring here at the Nyayo National Stadium.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mutai. Just before I let you go, there is one question, very, noble, brilliant, timely idea. Prayer, that is. But the question, of course, maybe on some of the speeches, or have you got any wind of if there's any plan that will be also unveiled in some, so that we do not get here again? Is there any talks, any mitigation efforts that are going to be talked about today over and above prayer, as they always say, work and pray?
Sorry, I missed that last bit of your statement.
No, I'm saying, are there any other plans or in any speeches, or if you've heard that there's anything else that's going to be talked about today in terms of, apart from the prayer, something that will, a plan, a guideline, a mitigation program for drought and famine over and above the prayer?
We are coming into a
well, of course, we know that the leaders that have been speaking, even in the meetings that we've seen them, and even in the cabinet sessions, they've had the plan. What I think what will be happening, and when we look at the program, the bit of speeches, I think, will be very narrowed down to, of course, avoid what we've witnessed in other sessions where sometimes, church events or religious events are taken over by politics. I know that for a fact that they will be containing that bit to allow this moment to be a moment of supplication. But when you talk about the plan, it should be expected that the plan that was there before the August 9th election, the plan that was sold to Kenyans on the campaign trail, is the plan that they will be putting before the Lord, that even as we move and we work in trying to implement this, that this is actually achievable. But we don't expect that this session will be one that will be quote unquote seen to be a session to break down what will happen. But this is truly for them a moment of reflection, a moment of supplication, and a moment of interceding.
All right, of course, we join the nation in prayer. We're all Kenyans, and we will all pray for this particular day and going forward for the plans, as Chemutai has said there, that they work, because the plans working means Kenyans stay alive, means Kenyans continue to live their lives. Thank you so much, Chemutai Goina. She said 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 and 9. We're going to be joining her for this in our subsequent bulletins for more information as to what will have transpired. She's also mentioned that a little bit later on today is also the opening of Parliament. Interesting day for our political reporters, but I'm sure they're up to the task and they'll give you all the information that you need right here on Citizen Television. And also make sure you can follow this on Citizen Digital as well. Back to the conversation over here. Shatta Boy has joined us.
Yeah, man.
Uko sawa?
You know you're a talented lad.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see what he did?
You see when you can switch like this and this and this easily.
Thank you, sir. I
Big up on
appreciate
yourself, man.
I appreciate
You know, some things tunafundisha shule zingine is God given. Some things are God given.
Hamjambiana happy Vals.
That was his message.
Oh, that is the love.
That is the fight can go.
Okay.
It's borderline narcissist.
Asante sana. All right, we have some feedback here. One, Namu. Unajua Namu?
Yes.
Ivy Namu.
More life.
Happy Valentine's. Amesema hapa green flags. How you feel after talking to your partner, both hard conversations and easy ones? If you feel relieved, lighter, seen, validated, uko aita. Anasema haifai kwa exam. Anasema even during disagreements and misunderstandings, you don't feel like your partner has deliberately gone out of the way to hurt you. You both understand that mistakes happen. You don't take it as a direct attack on your person. You don't argue much, just have disagreements and misunderstanding. It's not about arguing and fighting and winning. It's about understanding each other and finding common ground. You know you're on the same side. Yes.
Namu hata angekuja akae hapa.
Kuna kitu.
Angekuja amekaa hapa.
Because amesema everything.
Yeah, Leono the other
hapa. So just, FYI, she's describing our relationship.
Must be nice. Unajua Winnie, before tukae chini, Winnie amesema ati niko hapa juu sina mpenzi.
Na umevaa hadi kitenge. Akashona hadi kitenge.
Kama si yuko ready. Nimevaa kitenge.
Shatta kwa we, CJ awe,
Shazmin.
Anyway, this year
opposed to them.
Maybe nafa kwenda hiyo prayer pia mimi.
Hiyo ni a drought and famine. Unless that drought and famine is not happening in your relationship. It's just kwingine.
Okay.
All right.
Ndio useme hadi nikashona hadi kitenge.
Mtu anataka kunimatch kitenge, please, niko na material imebaki.
Unajua na match kitenge na
lipstick.
Jitambulishe.
Ati?
Lakini
match kitenge na lipstick.
Na usikue a walking red flag. Ukue green flag. And you must work on yourself. Na vetting committee ni Shatta and I.
Bas. Utafurahia. Itaumana.
Shut up. You are saying about, because you said most of the stuff when you're walking in.
Yes.
Maybe repeat what you're saying so that the viewers can
get
put in context.
to see the whoever was talking.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Babibi na mabwana. Happy Valentine. Leo ndo kama simu ya mtu wako ameweka share with watu kadhaa, wengine ameblock hapo kidogo huko among the blocked ones.
Leo kama uoni story ya mpenzi wako, ujue uko blocked.
Uko pabad.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, on a serious note, unajua kwa relationship kuna number one, kuna hiyo kitu watu wanaitaga you avoidant. Is that some people ushajijua to an extent that ukienda kuongelesha mtu wako na yeye anakuongelesha, unamuongelesha, yeye anangoja umalize kuongea kujibu. Sometimes what you do is you keep quiet. You see, because unaambiwaga stop talking to people who are not listening to you. You see, because the moment you stop talking, now they will listen to the silence. Unaelewa? That is also a way of communication. But lazima ujijue huyu mtu wangu tumeingia kwa, no one can be perfect. Si ndio? Kuna zile vitu observe kwa mtu wako. First of all, you being a green flag, you have to know that no one can be perfect.
Yes.
Lazima atakuwa na flaws. Na pia wewe uko na hizo flaws. Unaget? So when you get into these situations and you realize this one does not go the way it's supposed to be going. Si ndio? Do you confront them? Do you go belittling them? You see? Or do you have a conversation and tell them, you know, babe, I think hapa na hapa tukifanya hivi na hivi tunaweza kuwa poa. You see? No, babe, on the other hand, ako willing to listen. That huyu babe wangu anataka tu naacha hii relationship yetu ikuwe poa.
Yes.
Ama atafikiria babe anataka kunikalia. You know, there is the way mdema anaweza kama kuambia kitu, wewe tu kama mwanaume feel huyu anataka kunikalia, sasa wananiambia. Una get? So are you that person?
Already go kwa defense mode.
Yes, that's it. Are you in a fight or a relationship? You have to know all these things. Kuna mtu probably tunasemanga usikatwe pale pengine ukuje kubleedia hapa. Una get? You have to work on yourself, heal first from whatever traumas that you have, then come. Kama ni zingine tulisema last time hapa ziliapenda ukiwa mtoi haujui. Hizo no one can blame you for, because you think it's your way of living. Una get? But when someone notices it and they try to win you from it, you should be part of the team that is fighting. You know, that person has become your team.
Yeah.
Now you should be a team player also.
Yeah.
That mimi niko na trauma ya utotoni ya enyewe my emotions were neglected. You see, and that's why I behave the way I behave. My partner has realized that one. When they start working towards removing me from that situation, I shouldn't see them as trying to change me. You know, I have to understand when someone is trying to improve me and change me. You know, once you know these things, and if you are that partner that is doing it, also you have to ask yourself, am I changing this person or do I want them to be better?
Yes.
You know, not to be better for you.
For themselves as a
for themselves, because once they are better for themselves, even without you in the picture, there will be better people out there.
Yes.
You know, yes. You have to establish that. If you feel I am changing my partner for me, then you're being selfish. You're not being a green flag. You know, but if I am changing them for the better of society and us together, then that is good. And you as a person need to be aware and alive to that. Hauwezi kuwa perfect. Na kitu hapa na hapa itatuikie ikuwe poa. Karibisha hiyo.
But pia kuna a caveat.
Yes.
To that. Usiji, as they say in Kiswahili, wait for it and but drop some. Usijitwike majukumu.
Yes, yako.
Ya sio ya kuwa yako. Ati sasa una change mtu for society.
Not for society in that aspect.
Ngoja, you know, there's that pressure that comes with because there are certain models that have been put in place by society through social media, through, you know, different movies, you know, whatever it is, a model of how somebody should be. And so if our relationship is not like X, Y, and Z, or at least the way they display it on social media, then it's not working. So unapatia your partner pressure so that in your mind, I'm helping them to change them so that we become a model. You know, we are all models. People are looking up to us.
See, but now you
so
see
now we have to change and be in a certain way and talk a certain way for society.
You see that one? You're doing for people.
Yes.
You're not doing for yourselves. That on its own, you're being toxic to each other.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We need to be careful.
For society, let me give you a practical example.
Okay.
Unaweza kuwa na partner mwenye amezoea kushautiwa down kwa maisha yake. So opinion yake does not matter. Anywhere.
Right.
Unaget? So mko kwa relationship, umerealize hadi job anakuwaga na ideas but hazisemi because vile amezoea kurudishwa chini na kunyamazishwa, si ndio? But you know, sile muongea na yeye, hata ukiona tu vile anafikiriaga vitu anaandikaga, unaona this person has solutions to problems people have, si ndio? Hata hapa home tukiona issue yeye unyamaza, atakagi yeye kupeana opinion yake kwanza, but akipeana hiyo opinion inaweza work, yeye unyamazia. Una get? So if you work on your person to build this confidence in them that they can, you have an issue in the family and they can bring up a solution to it. Once they are confident enough to do that, you are sure that hata huko job issue ikitokea, they will speak for themselves.
Yes.
You know, they will give solutions. You see, you help society in helping your person.
Yeah.
That is it. That's what I'm saying. Not that sasa tuanze kujitengeneza tukue actors watu uko nje na watulipi. Hiyo sio sina.
No, wanatulipa si tuko kwa YouTube channel. Sasa hiyo
ni vipindi.
Vipindi re.
All
right. So I guess, Bobby, so what happens if now you're experiencing what is called what's this word? It's is it unrequited love? Yes, ile unreciprocated. Where you're the green flag and you want this other person to be in a space where they have potential to to be green flags. They have potential to be the best lover, understanding, caring and all that. But they're just sort of in a shell. How do you bring them out? Like, for example, that situation Shatta said, you know, this person has this talent, they're solution oriented, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
They have solutions, but wako timid because of either the way they were brought up. See, how do you bring that out, avoiding the savior complex?
Yes. I feel like the question ingekuwa best for Shazmin. Juenda anapanga na Grace.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Shaz. Hey, Shaz sasa will petition Winnie and Linus and Mrs. tufanyie show sasa Dubai. At this rate.
Kwanza mngesema leo 14.
Hata leo 14 tungekuwa hapo Dubai hapo Marina. Anyway.
So this is something that I'm learning in my relationships right now because there's this verse in the Bible. Initonga verse ama chapter? Nimesahau.
Zote
But kuna
zote ziko hapo.
Yeah, inakwanga 1 Corinthians something ile ina describing love.
13, yes.
It says love is patient, love is kind, love is dizo ma love zote. So my mom told me anytime you want to know how you feel, replace love with that person's name. And see if it pans out the way, if it gives you the feeling. Is Shatta kind? Is he patient? Is he trusting? Is he all those things? That's what love is. Love is very unconditional. Like true love is very unconditional. Na hiyo love I think ni mamako sana ndo anawezanga kukupea. Hiyo love hataki anything, anataka tu come as yourself.
Except black tax.
But I think when you intentionally work on yourself to the point that you feel all these things for yourself, you're able to give the same kind of love to the people that you love around you. And so when you love someone, you're able to be very, very patient with them. You're able to extend grace and to listen better and to be more understanding. But also, because you're able to give this love, you're also giving it to yourself. Like before you're able to share it with anyone around you, you have to be able to give it to yourself first. And if you love yourself enough, hiyo yenye nimesema borderline narcissism, ile uko obsessed with yourself, like not crazy wise, but I mean like healthy love, loving yourself so well that unajijua, unajichoose, unajipenda. When you get yourself to that level, you're able to easily extend it to everyone around you. And when you love someone else, it becomes the easiest thing to do. If someone that you love is being a red flag, or they're wako your space, they have the potential, but they're not quite getting it, you can draw boundaries and standards for yourself and say, this is the much that I can extend myself, because mi si savior, na siezi fix watu, na siezi fix kila mtu, but love yenye niko nayo at this point inaweza nifikisha 1, 2, 3.
Right.
And so if I love Shatta and I see his acting in a way that I do not appreciate, or I feel like there's a way he can improve the love we have for each other, he also has to be willing to meet me halfway. Like Shatta said, this is a teammate thing. We're not fighting against each other. It's us against the problem together. So if I'm able to create a space where it's safe for me and Shatta to talk about such things, then I can tell him how I feel, and he should be willing to meet me halfway and say, okay, I don't quite get it, but I'm willing to learn. And I do this with my younger brother a lot. He's able to tell me when I'm acting weird, or when I'm not being as graceful, or when I'm not extending kindness. Kitambo, I used to get defensive because what do you mean? I'm the kindest person I know. I'm so nice. I'm so loving. How can you tell me I'm being mean to you? You know. But sometimes you have to understand that how you make people feel isn't necessarily what you're feeling also. And you can hurt someone without knowing that you're hurting them. But the point that, I'm just going to go back to what Shatta said, personality trait of people that are very intelligent that I notice across board is they're always willing to learn, they're always willing to improve, they're always willing to do better, always willing to know more. Wanajua, they don't know everything, and they're not perfect, and they're not the end all of everything. So if you want to be in healthy relationships, you have to bring yourself to a space where you're able to realize that, okay, I'm not perfect. Maybe I think I'm normally kind, but maybe there's times that I'm not as kind as I think. And I should be willing to listen and say, okay, how can I improve? How can I be better? How can I be kinder? So when you're in relationships, and I mean, it could be any kind of relationship with your mom, your friend, your sister, when you're in relationships whereby you feel like that person has the potential to do better, but they're not quite there, please extend your grace. Do not tire or shun them, because then again, you're just passing on the kind of trauma that we've said we're trying to heal from and work on. Love is not conditional. It's very, very patient and very, very graceful. So if you're in a relationship with someone who you feel like they have that potential, but they're not quite there,
right,
after you draw your boundaries, just extend your grace and your love. If they're not quite getting it, understand that you can't, kuna vitu zingine huwezi teach mse, they say ulimwengu teaches you. Hizo ni vitu ata learn as they go, but as long as they have the willingness to improve themselves, as long as they realize, okay, niko team moja na we Bobby, let's fix this relationship. That's the best part to be at. But if someone is getting defensive, they're still avoidant, they don't want to fix things, they don't want to talk to you, they're showing you that communication is not important to them to fix your relationship, then you have to love yourself enough to understand that, okay, maybe this is not the kind of relationship I need to be in. And it's difficult, but then when you love yourself, you choose yourself. So put yourself in a space where you're able to say, okay, Shatta doesn't care enough, so wacha nijitoe.
But he does.
I know he does. But if ukiona mse hayuko team yako, venye tu Namu amesema, hizo vitu zote, I wish hata unaweza zisoma tena, uzirepeat. They have to be on your team. They have to feel like they're working with you against the problem, not against you. So that's something you're going to be able to discern the more you love yourself and you work on yourself. But kama pia we uko place, hauoni, haujui love, haujui kureceive, inaweza kuwa ngumu, and that's where I think toxic relationships come from.
All right, so tunaambiwa kwamba muda imetupatia hii kitu. Kwa sababu wenyewe watu wanataka kuomba.
That's true. Hata Bobby amesema Bible verse.
Bible verse.
Watu wanyayo wamwekea nafasi ya
hata yaingie pale.
Amazing.
There's an interesting perspective I got about this. One of the things that nasemanga hapo naye Mungu ali come through. One time, sorry, we need 30 seconds about this love thing. I know people are not used to me quoting the Bible. But 1 John 4:8. Part B is God is love, right? So it's God is. I say me God is as in a synonym. God is like. So for me, the same thing a mother said. I now go to 1 Corinthians 13 and say God is kind, God is caring, God is this. So therefore, if I tell a lady, like I say, I am in love with you, it means then I am in God with you. Meaning whatever God says about you, I subscribe to. And that's why I treat you the way he would. You are a grant opportunity. Kukua nawe?
Yes.
Your design.
Muo life tree.
Yeah, Sheshi anasema ni wewe tu hujatoa Bible.
Bwana. You know, ambia John 3:16.
Which is still for God so loved that he gave. Love is giving.
Love is giving.
Ni vile mapasi wanaitumianga the opposite way.
Vibaya. But realistically,
yes.
Ile kitu unaweza pima nayo temperature yako sahihi ya love mtu yote ana watch show, think about your person now. What feeling do you have?
Yes.
For two?
Yes.
Fikiria tu jina yake. Close your eyes. Fikiria jina yake. What feeling do you get? Kama upati a good feeling, you're being loved wrong.
Well,
Yes.
that's how we end it. Think about it. Close your eyes and think. Peace and love, people. Mungu awabariki sana. Happy Valentine's, Ivy Namu. Happy Valentine's. Oh, sema.